Hey y'all, welcome to Dig It Homesteading. I am Jamie and it is almost fall, and that means it's time to start making all the fall baked goods and anything else to do with pumpkin. And I have about 9 cups of pumpkin that we put up together on another video. I can link that below if you're interested on how to put them up. But we have a lot of pumpkin. And so I wanted to go through and share some recipes with you guys on how I plan on using that pumpkin. And I don't even know how many I'm going to share on this video at this moment, so I'm sure it'll be part of the title. But we have a lot. So we're going to test out some recipes. We have some tried and true recipes, and we're just going to get right into it and start baking our little hearts out because we have a lot of pumpkin. And I'm going to use my new apron that my lovely honey gave me, so maybe I don't ruin some clothes because I have a tendency of doing that. Anyway, let's get on our first recipe. Alright, so you can see right here I have all that pumpkin. I had it defrosted and then I've had it sitting in this colander to drain any excess liquids. That way we don't add extra moisture to our product that isn't called for. And I am going to get started on some pumpkin muffins. And I just so happen to have 2 pans that will cook 2 dozens worth of muffins, and I'm going to start there. And then we're going to test out the recipes, try out the ones we haven't tasted, and see, because I plan on making a whole lot more stuff. And I might do a second video to show some other recipes, but I don't know yet. We'll see how far we get with this one because I don't want to make it too terribly long for you guys. So to get started, we need to have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I am going to double this recipe. So I do like to fluff up my flour. That way it's not so compact, so you get a more accurate measurement. So then you can just take this flat edge of something. I usually like to use a butter knife. And we'll do 3 cups for me, 1.5 cups if you're just doing the base recipe. And then we're going to need 2.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. So 2.5 times 2 for me. Let me make sure that's a half and not a fourth. Yes, 2.5 will be 5 teaspoons. Alright. And the next step, we need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And that's what I have in here. I just need to refill it. And I have 1. And I left the little label in here so I can know which white powder I have in here. Because you might think you'll remember, but you won't. At least I don't. And then we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just using plain table salt. And I will be doing a whole teaspoon for mine. And then we need 1 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree. And I'm going to use this, I think, because it should squish the pumpkin out and not be so sticky. And one side's for liquid, like this is, if you do it this way, it's for dry solid. If you do it for this way, this side up, it's liquid. So you just swap it around to do your measurement. And 1 1/4, I'm probably just going to do it twice because this only goes up to 2 cups. Will do nicely. And I did not puree this stuff, so it might have some lumpy chunky stuff, but I will deal with that as I go, or I might choose just to have some pumpkin chunks in the different products. I wanted to leave it where I could make choices as I was using the pumpkin instead of having all pureed, because I also do a pumpkin soup that is absolutely delicious, and I do like having some pumpkin chunks in that. You see, I'm just squishing it down till it fills that hole, because you want to get as much pumpkin as possible in there. And that still has a little tiny hole, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's bumped up at the top. And just plunge it out. And then I'll do it one more time for my second batch. And that reminds me to tell you, I have the oven set for 425 and it has come up to temperature. And I really wanted to get these going first because I can do other things while they bake, and I like making good use of my time, especially when I'm in the kitchen, but just in general. So if you have two things to do, get your thing wrapped up, throw it in the oven, and then you can work on another project. That's the way I like to work. And then we need half a cup of packed light brown sugar. No matter if I do 1 or 2 videos on this, I can tell you I will not be making pumpkin pie, because when you're thinking about using pumpkin, that's everybody's go-to. So I want to give y'all sweet and savory options to use up that pumpkin, because I know as American, most of the time that's where we go to, is how to use it in sweets, but you can use pumpkins and the savory recipes as well. And then you're packing more nutrients in your savory dishes as well. So I like the idea of that. And then we also need a half a cup of granulated sugar. Let me see what cup I have in here. I did get my sugar refilled, my bucket, and all of this refilled. Got some other things refilled, so that's been great. I like to keep a good stock of things, but I like keep extra measuring cups in my containers so I can use them as scoops. It just so happens that's a 2/3 of a cup, so that's not going to help me there. Honestly, if you're following the recipe, you should have stopped at salt, mixed it together, and then got a whole nother bowl out. But I just want to throw it all into one bowl and mix it together. As long as you make sure you incorporate everything good, then that's fine. If you're worried about your powders, your floury type products not mixing together, just mix it together, and then you can throw in your wet ingredients and start mixing it together as well. I like to minimize dishes as well, so this is what I do. Alright, so next up you're going to need half a cup of vegetable oil. Or any light, not super flavorful oil of your choosing. And then 1/4 of a cup of whole milk. And then we need 2 large eggs, which I'll do those at the end. And, oh, I didn't think about the vanilla. We need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I do love this vanilla. It's the Mexican vanilla we like to pick up when we're there on our little vacations. And it's super clear, unlike the ones you get here. Sister's chickens have definitely been earning their keep, even though they terrorize me in the garden. But they just make the prettiest eggs. And they are definitely eating their calcium. Now when you're using yard eggs, you do want to do them one at a time in a separate dish in case one of them is funky. Then you will know ahead of time so you don't waste all of that lovely goodness that we just stuck into that. Because it would ruin that whole bowl of food if I put one nasty egg in there. I'm going to just clean up real quick and then we'll get going. That bowl of deliciousness definitely looks like fall. With all the browns and yellows and oranges. Y'all let me know, what's your favorite season? Not you. Nobody's talking to you. But mine used to be spring, and I guess it kind of still is, but I am really working hard and trying to get more things grown in my fall garden this year. And being somebody that works outside, I so look forward to the temperatures dropping. And that way, it feels just better out there. You know, we're not struggling out in the heat all day when we work. So fall is growing on me, and I've grown things over the fall, but I've never been fully committed to try to grow as much as I could. And I don't know if I'm truly committed, but I am definitely more committed than usual about getting things grown. So if you're interested in fall gardens, make sure you subscribe, because we are right in the middle of that as well. We're going to put it in these pans, and I'm just going to take these over to my sink and use my spray in them so my spray doesn't go all over my work area and all the things I have over here. And I'm just going to use another measuring scoop. I don't really care about what the size of it is, and just use that to transfer over. So you can use paper liners if you want. And we're going to do 3/4 of the way full, like we were already doing anyway. And then we're going to bake these for 5 minutes at this 425. But then we're going to drop the temperature down to 350 and bake it an additional 15 minutes until, like a not paper clip, toothpick or wooden skewer comes out clean. And these already smell so good. I love being able to see the spice in the batter. It looks so pretty. Definitely gets us in the mood for fall. We're trying to like call fall to come already. Sister and I decorated with some fall things this last weekend, and you know, it helps us get in the mood for fall, even if we only get it for like a couple of mornings and then all of a sudden we have winter. Sometimes we skip over fall around here completely. And I'm going to just fill up my next tray, and I'll even out any of them that need to be evened, and I'll show you what that looks like too. Okay, so I got both trays done, and surprisingly, I mean, they're a little bit more than 3/4 of the way full. And let me see if I can show you. This one right here, I added a tad bit more, and so it seems like this recipe is on point with its measurements, so I like to see that. That's something I like to make sure of when I'm sharing these recipes, is that they end up doing what they say they will do. And I know there's a lot of things that AI is doing now, and I'm sure if there isn't one right now, I'm sure there will be one that's writing recipes. And for somebody that's new to cooking, they might not be able to read the recipe and see that things are not going to work out just by reading what you should do. So it's good for people who can read recipes and who have experience to share these recipes and to let them know if it's good and okay, because people are going to be using that technology to throw things out on the internet, and I don't ever want anybody to be discouraged from cooking or baking because they tried out either some person or an AI's recipe and it was just all wrong. So that's why I like sharing all these recipes with you guys. So for one, you can see if they're delicious, see if they're easy, see if you can do them, maybe learn a couple of things as well. So I hope you get something out of these videos, even if it's just a recipe and you're tried and true cook and chef in the baker in the kitchen, then I love sharing with you. Just got our 5-minute timer set up, and I'm going to clean up and just kind of give myself a little bit more space I don't even think I'm going to rinse out that bowl because a lot of the ingredients are the same, which I also like. I can pull out these ingredients one time, use one bowl, and get at least 2 recipes done. I'm hoping to get more done tonight, but I might have to continue this tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see where the day takes us. Pancakes. I think we're going to do pancakes next. I have never ever made pumpkin pancakes. I will be doubling this recipe too because it says that this will make 8 pancakes. I believe that's what it says. Yeah, yields 8 pancakes. So I am definitely going to be making more. Yeah, let's just do double now and we'll see how it goes from there. And I wonder if they'll be good in the freezer. I feel like we could do extra pancakes and just put them in Ziploc bags and have them ready where people could pull out a couple at a time and just heat them up and have fresh homemade pancakes ready to go when they are. Now this recipe does say to sift your ingredients, and that's what this is. And honestly, if I didn't really just enjoy doing this as a great childhood memory from my grandma, I probably wouldn't bother. As long as you can tell you don't have a bunch of chunks, it's fine. So 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Don't forget I'm doubling. Hopefully this works well because I had some oil left over in there, so it might clog this thing up, but we shall see. And then I need my half. You do want to be pretty accurate whenever you're doing baking because all of these is like a chemical reaction that makes what you want to happen with your baking powder and your baking soda, things like that. Ooh, y'all, I'm certain now that we did not put 1 teaspoon of baking powder in that pumpkin recipe. So if they're a little funky and not so fluffy, that would be why. I have it sitting right here. I don't know why I didn't see it. There's a pro tip for you. Always reread your recipe and make sure you've used all of your ingredients. And I think this is getting clogged up, so I'm going to get a butter knife in there and help it out. Nope, it's not. Look, the rivet has popped off. Darn. So I guess I'll need a new one of those. Good job I'm not really that bothered about it, right? And even the metal part popped off. Oh, I'm sad. I like to sift it. And there is my timer. So I'm going to drop this to 350 for our muffins. And then we're going to put on a 15-minute timer. Alright, now we need 1/4 cup of white sugar. And I'm just going to use this so I don't put my flour and my milk that was in this into my sugar. And this is a 1/2 cup measure. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I need 4. I don't really know that the kids are going to care about the missing baking powder, but other people might notice. But that's why I saw it. I was like, hey, I need baking powder. And I was like, hey, I thought both these need baking powder. So it is what it is. Now we need 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And if you hear me put cinnamon in something, you can almost guarantee my husband isn't going to like it. But he'll probably try it anyway. 1/2 teaspoon of the ground cinnamon, and then we need 1/4 teaspoon of the ground nutmeg. And 1
cup of milk for you guys who are doing one batch. And then we need half a cup of pumpkin puree. And I think I'm going to use that same Scooby-Doo thing because it works so well. And we needed half a cup, so I need 1 cup. Okay, get that in there. And then we need 1 egg beaten, and then 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. I'm going to do the vegetable oil first again. And then we'll do our eggs, and it needs to be beaten eggs that you put in here. Go. And we're just gonna get it all mixed up again. Get some of this stuff out the way. But I just want to kind of fold everything in and let that flour get absorbed with all the liquid. See how it went from super liquidy to not so liquidy now. That means everything's starting to come together real good. And this will be a more liquidy batter because you want your pancakes to be able to spread. Okay, got some things cleaned up and sorted up a bit, and I have pulled out my large electric skillet. And while it is heating up, I'm going to refill this stuff and get some things put up as well. And y'all, if y'all don't have extra baking soda and baking powder and things like that in your cupboards, I highly recommend you do. Anything that you cook with or bake with often, keep an extra one, even if that means just buying one. Like now maybe this was my last one. Maybe I just want to buy 2 more or 1 more or whatever I can. That way, if I'm in the middle of a big batch baking day or cooking day, whatever I'm doing, then I might have to stop and run to the store, and I can't stand that. Plus, baking soda is really good. You can use toilet bombs. If you don't know about those, maybe we'll talk about those one day. But baking soda is so good for cleaning. Okay, it is a non-stick pan, but I did go ahead and put some non-stick spray in there, and I'm going to use my same little measurer. I only have this, I had it on high heat to get it warmed up quick, but I put it down to medium, so we'll have to see how that is. And you do not want to overwork your batters. And I have never ever used this to make pancakes, but I figured since I'm doing so many, even my biggest skillet, I don't think I'd be able to fit 4. And you could do this with canned pumpkin too, if you don't put away pumpkin. But I think these are like decent sized pancakes, and I think they might fit in a container better. And you just want to leave those until you start seeing a bunch of bubbles. Okay, we're going to start watching. There's a little bubble there and a little bubble there, but you want to start seeing bubbles on the top before you even try to lift your pancake. And then just flip it over and leave it alone so it can get a harder crust on this side as well. And these, so far, are looking and smelling amazing. And I need to scoop this over because that is our muffins. So let's check on those. Ooh wee! These have turned out so good. And I'm gonna try not to burn myself here. We're gonna do the toothpick test. And it came out clean on this one in the middle. And this one looks plenty done as well. So I'm gonna just set these to the side so they can cool off. And I can tell you for absolute certain that both of these recipes have been so easy. Look how they puffed up. I like that. So this one might be a little bit darker because we were playing with, oh, that's not bad, playing with the muffins, which I want to show you. They just puffed up really good. Ooh, they're like cone shaped at the top, so they look really good. So maybe y'all, maybe I'll see an edit that I did put it in there, or maybe it's just a happy accident. Okay, so I have a pan, and this one should be just fine. And we're gonna get more going, and it is almost time for some of our people to get home from work and school. I'm gonna just spray that again. So maybe they will want to do a taste test tonight on these two recipes. Now that I'm in here cooking some more, I'm sitting here thinking that waffles, pumpkin waffles would probably be really good. And might have to do that too, because I have a whole heck of a lot of pumpkin that I put up, and it is time to get it used. Oh, I had to turn the air on. But my tool of choice is just to run a butter knife around and then just flip it over so it doesn't stick, and so they can cool a little bit more. And let's see what the inside looks like. Oh yeah, that looks wonderful. Let's try it out while it's hot and steamy. Y'all, it's perfect. Hitting all the right flavors. I don't see any chunk of pumpkin in there, but if there was, I'd be okay with it. Just like when you have like berries or something in it. That's kind of what I was thinking with this. I don't know if I put that in there or not, but if I didn't, they still turned out great. I have no qualms with this. Some chopped walnuts or peanuts, not peanuts, chopped walnuts, pecans, or almonds would be good in this. This would be good with some cinnamon butter. Ooh. So good. So that recipe is definitely a winner, even if you don't do it right. Okay, so I'm on my last pancakes now. And let me show you. These are just turning out so pretty. It's gonna make 8 pancakes per batch, just like it said. That's a coincidence because it depends on how big of pancakes that you make. I just so happen to be using 1/3 of a cup measuring scoop to pour out my pancakes, and it made it exactly how it said it would. So if you're wanting to make exactly 8 with one batch, use your 1/3 of a cup measurer, and that's the size pancakes that you will need to do. These are really hot. They're fresh off the pan, and sorry, but I had to turn on my air because it's getting steamy in here. Woo! Nice and flaky and just absolutely lovely. We're gonna try a bit of this too. Great chew. Just like you want in a pancake. You don't want it stodgy or thick or cakey, but it's got where it's browned nicely. It's super good. I can really taste the pumpkin in that. It's really good. So I think everybody's excited that I've been cooking today. I have pumpkin muffins and pumpkin pancakes for you guys to try. Are you excited?
No, I don't like pumpkin very much.
Oh, poor you. I guess you're just not gonna like anything. And I don't know if y'all can see, but one of these muffins were stole by my son. And what did you say, Blaine?
They were really good.
Nice.
Very moist. Very flavorful.
Well, I think I forgot to put an ingredient in it that I was worried it wasn't gonna turn out texturally
spice?
right.
I think the
Baking
texture's
soda,
better than it
baking
normally
powder.
is.
Baking powder.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So we'll figure that out, and y'all let me know if they're ruined. And I did not bite that one. I just pulled off of it.
Okay.
So whatever you want. If you want a whole one, take a whole one. If you just want to try the pancake first, go for it.
Hand me a pancake.
You want to try part of a pancake?
Wow.
You want a whole pancake? Why are you throwing it on the ground?
I didn't throw it on the ground. I caught it. It's so soft. What the heck?
You like the texture?
Yeah, I like
you can't
that
really tell us
texture.
about pumpkin.
I could tell
I can
more
tell.
in that it was a lot of pumpkin.
Oh dear, I can't taste it.
Yeah, you might have
I
some.
can see the pumpkin
Less flavor than the
spice.
muffins, I'll be
Pumpkin
honest.
spice.
It doesn't have pumpkin spice in that one. It has nutmeg and cinnamon though.
Oh, it's just like that's like
Could
the
you
same
taste
thing.
it?
I know.
So whatever his vote is tonight don't matter because he's been kind of feeling poorly lately.
And I love the texture, how bouncy it is.
I know. I said about the texture as well. I really liked it. Try the muffins.
It wasn't offensive.
It wasn't offensive.
Those look cute too, and they look very,
Yeah, you see how you see the little pumpkin bits in it?
yeah. I like that it's
Get
still.
that one that's popped up already for you, honey.
I like that it's still really soft, even though you didn't even use baking powder.
I know, right? We'll see how you like the taste.
Doesn't smell of anything.
For you.
Those are good.
You might need to be getting one of those testy tests tonight. You like that? Which one you like better? The muffins? You're a huge muffin fan versus a pancake fan.
Yeah, I don't really like pancakes.
So we're gonna
I like
try.
the texture of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
thought
texture-
it turned out great. I don't know if I put it in there or not. We'll have to figure it out. But I figured we can make a bunch of these and throw them in the freezer. That way when y'all do want pumpkin
Can I have
pancakes, yeah, go ahead. Then y'all can just pull them out and even pop them in the toaster to warm them up.
That doesn't taste of pumpkin.
For you. Your sinuses aren't very happy. You like the pancake?
No, it tastes. I can
Yeah,
taste.
the
I have some
pancakes are
taste, but it
good.
doesn't taste like pumpkin. It tastes good.
I just
know
don't.
what it is.
I don't think those pancakes really had much of a pumpkin-y taste.
So
tasted
they need
something
more
different.
pumpkin?
Yeah.
The pancakes need more. These are amazing. Don't change anything about them.
Yeah, those ones.
But
are
add
good.
more pumpkin?
Yeah, add more pumpkin. Even though I don't really like pancakes, they're still good.
And
They're
those-
really moist and just perfect,
I
aren't
don't
they?
know about
All
the
of this is
pancakes
moist
if
and
it's
good.
the one I had specifically, but it wasn't a bad taste, but it kind of felt more rubbery
It's
than a
not
normal
taste.
pancake.
It's not a taste,
No,
it's a
that's not what I
texture.
meant. I meant the texture.
But I like the texture of those pancakes. They
Yeah,
weren't.
me too. As soon as I
It
picked up, I
wasn't
was
just a
like,
cloud, but it wasn't like stodgy, where it's like
No, it
wet
was
and
good.
gooey. It was like a perfect texture for
Did
me.
you
Yeah.
do the pancakes in here?
I did. All right, thanks for testing it out. I will have more for you guys to try out. Are you excited?
Yes.
See what Mom comes up with. Thanks for testing. So we are going to do 2 more in this video. And we're going to do the same process where we get something in the oven so we can do something else while it is baking and maximize our time. Okay, so same as the other one. I'm going to double, but I'll give you the actual amounts that this recipe is calling for. And we are going to use our all-purpose flour again. And it says we need 1 cup and 3 tablespoons. So there's our 1 cup. Okay, and I've doubled it, so it's going to have more in there. And now we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. At least I'm not forgetting it in this one, right? And I'm going to put this in my hand and just kind of crush it up a bit. Okay, now we need 3/4 cup of just granulated sugar. And this is my pure cane sugar that I had as a backup if you were with me. And y'all be sure that you subscribe if you want more recipes of all kinds, but especially if you don't want to miss out on more ideas for pumpkin things. And there's a bell that you can ring and it will tell you when I upload that video. And I also wanted to say, if you are on a mobile device and you don't know how to find like where I'm going to type these where I'm going to type these notes at is going to be in the description below. And if you're on the TV, it's a little hard to get to, but you can just keep scrolling down and you can usually find it. But if you're on mobile, there's a button underneath this video and it says more. You might have to click more twice and it will just expand it. And this is going to be 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then another 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. These recipes are also a really good way to get rid of those spices that you bought last year that you need to use up, because spices only last so long. Now we're just going to mix all of these up. And I know I don't use separate bowls for everything, but this one you definitely do. And I don't even know if I told y'all what we're going to make, but I am so excited to make this one. I am from the South, if you can't tell by my accent. And we love cobbler around here. So this is going to be a pumpkin nut cobbler. The recipe calls for pecan. But around here, even though we have pecan trees everywhere, walnuts are cheaper. Makes no sense. I'm hoping to get a pecan tree growing in my yard so I don't have to worry about that. And I can just harvest my own every year. And 1 pecan tree per family should, you know, once it's a good size, provide enough nuts for your family, unless you just eat those nuts all the time, which could happen too. Just get it all mixed up together. And I do have my oven set to 350 preheating. And in this separate bowl, we're going to do the wet ingredients, which is going to be 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree. So let me use my plunger. I'll see if I can find one of these to link. I do believe I got this one on Amazon. And I really do like this. This is really good for anything sticky, like your honey, your peanut butters, things like that. I really enjoy this for things you don't want to be trying to scrape out. Okay, pumpkin first. And then we need 1/4 cup of milk. And 1/4 cup of melted butter or vegetable oil. I already have the vegetable oil out, so I'm choosing to use that today. Although I really do like butter in my baking, but butter's just getting outrageous as well. So it's going to be a fine balance between what I want to put butter in and what I don't. And then we need 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we're going to mix all of that together. But that just seems like a lot of oil, even though we doubled. So I probably would reduce the oil because that seems like so oily. But that's why we're here. We're going to find out together what happens with this recipe. Okay, so it does say to put the wet ingredients into the dry and then stir it together to make a thick batter. And it does say to use an 8-inch casserole, so I'm really glad I'm doubling this for one of these size casseroles. That's a 9 by 13 I have back there, if you're wondering. Okay, it looks like everything's just about come together. Make sure you mush any clumps. And then we're going to pour this into the casserole dish. It smells divine. That was a lot of vanilla too, but I'm not mad at it. Now we're just going to get this spread out. We're going to make the topping, and you're going to need half a cup of granulated sugar, and you're going to also need half a cup of brown sugar. And brown sugar's measurement is usually by packed. This recipe doesn't say, but I'm going to go ahead and do that since that's what most brown sugar recipe instructions call for. And then we need 1/4 of a cup of chopped pecans, and I am using chopped walnuts just to make it even easier for me. I want it to be super crumbly, so I didn't want to use that has the batter on it. I didn't mind using the same bowl because there wasn't that much going on in it. But you want this to be a nice crumbly mixture. But we're going to stir that all up and make it look like sand. And we're just going to sprinkle this all over the top of our cobbler. Ooh, I hope she stays quiet. She knows what ingredients I'm using. Those walnuts, she can smell them. And that's one of her favorite treats. And this is a lot of topping. But we're going to do it exactly how they said. We're going to see how it works out because that is a lot of topping. So if you don't want a lot, that's got to be, I don't know, 1/2 inch thick, which, you know, will be fine. But the next step calls for very, very hot water. Doesn't give an exact temperature. It doesn't say boiling water. It just says very hot water. And you're going to need 1/4 of a cup. And then it says very carefully pour the hot water over the entire dish without stirring, and then we'll put it to bake. So yeah, this is weird for me. And that's gonna be 3 cups. Y'all, this is looking scary. I'm gonna trust the process. We might be having pumpkin pecan soup. And then I'm gonna put it to bake in the middle rack until the middle is set. And you wanna let it cool for 5 to 10 minutes before serving. So I'll show you what it looks like and we'll get on to the next recipe. Next up, we're going to be doing our savory pumpkin, and we're going to be doing pumpkin gnocchi. If you don't know what gnocchi is, there's a place called Olive Garden, and it sells a very popular chicken and gnocchi soup, and it's like tiny little pillows of potato dumplings, you would say. So in place of potatoes, we're going to use pumpkin, and I have seen a couple of recipes that use potato and pumpkin, but I'm going to just try the one that just uses pumpkin and see how it turns out. And since I have so much pumpkin, I'm going to be doing this 8 times, what the recipe calls for. One recipe does 2 servings, so I'm 8 timesing it. That way I have extra to put up so it's quick and ready to go.
I'll show you whenever we get there how I'm going to put them up so they're quick and ready to go for easy weeknight meals as well. So this recipe does say that it wants you to use fresh pumpkin. My pumpkin is frozen, but I went through all the steps that it will show you if you just buy a pumpkin and you want to do this from start to finish. And so we get to skip a whole lot of time and a whole lot of steps because I've already prepared my pumpkin in advance. So thank you, past me. And this recipe also goes by grams. So if you don't have a kitchen scale, it does have the ounces that you're going to need, and I will try to remember to tell you that as we go along as well. And I will link all these recipes below except for the ones that I have to type up for you guys. And let's hope they're fantastic because my kids love gnocchi. And you want to put your bowl on it and then zero it out, because your bowl, you don't want to be measuring your bowl's weight. So you will need 400 grams or very close to of your pumpkin puree. And then we're going to zero it out again. I might just do this one batch and then I'll do the rest off camera so I can make more extra, because this is going to be a lot. Now I need 250 grams of what it calls 00 flour. That's like pizza flour, bread flour possibly, but this you can substitute all-purpose flour, which is what I'm doing today. And then you want 3 tablespoons of Pecorino Romano cheese. And I just have the funky shaker cheese. I didn't buy any cheese for this. I'm just using what I have on hand. So we shall see how it turns out. And then you're going to need 1 egg. And we're just going to start mixing this and get it all to come together. Had to turn my AC on, guys. It's getting warm in here. And I had a peek at that cobbler in the oven, and it is definitely starting to look like a cobbler. I cannot believe it. And that recipe that I'm going to be linking, that I'm following for this, it will show you what you can do with it. You can just do a simple, like sage brown butter is what it's going to show you with your gnocchi. And then that will be dinner for 2 with this one batch. So it is a lot of pumpkin gnocchi for your serving, and that's just part of my skin that I didn't take off. But I'm going to just keep getting it mixed together. And it is a very humid day, so I might need to add a little extra flour. So we're going to see how this comes together. I'm going to let it sit for just a minute, mix up some more ingredients, because I want the flour to start absorbing the moisture, because this will become a dough. And so if it stays this wet, I will add more flour. So I went and got another 6 cups, and I'm gonna get that just sitting in the sink with some warm water, and they defrost really quick. And I found that I have a whole tote out there of pumpkin, so this is awesome that we're getting to test out so many recipes, because I have an abundance of pumpkin. So this is where it's at. I just let it sit for a couple of minutes, and it's definitely a little on the wet side. So I'm just going to add about 2 tablespoons of flour and go from there. Get this all incorporated. Get the skins out as I see them. Okay, I've added just about the same amount again. And this is definitely starting to be less sticky and come into a ball. You want to not just keep adding and adding. You want to let the flour sit for a little bit so it can start absorbing the moisture. So I'm going to let this sit and check it again. And I want just a little bit of that dough to stop sticking. Okay, so I just tacked on our cobbler, and I gave it like another 5 more minutes
So that will be done soon. And the dough is starting to come together. I really think my pumpkin, since it was frozen, had a lot more moisture. So everything's starting to come together. So I'm going to just transfer this out onto the counter. And I'm going to work it by hand. Hopefully one hand, so I can actually get the thing out of the oven, because it's going to be done soon. And we're just going to work it a little bit and keep getting flour incorporated anywhere it's sticky. I have a little bit left in my bowl. I didn't want to add too much. You don't want to make it stodgy. But I'm going to just keep adding a little by little. You don't want it to be so sticky that it sticks everywhere. You're trying to make basically pasta. And I'm letting it pick up all of this extra stuff because I could see it was still sticky. And it's getting better, but I'm just going to keep doing this until it forms a good dough where it's not so sticky like this. But at least I have hopes, because I've worked out why it's needed more flour. Even though I let that pumpkin drain for a really long time, there's still a lot of moisture in it. And it really depends on what kind of pumpkins you use anyway, because some pumpkins have a ton of moisture in them anyway. But especially from frozen, you know what it's like. You defrost something from frozen and there's always extra liquid. So that's what I'm working with. But so far I still have faith that this is going to come together how I want it to. Okay, so now we have a workable ball of dough. And we are just going to put this back in our bowl. And we're going to cover it and let it sit for 10 minutes. And I did check our cobbler. And it still looks a little unset in some places on the inside, so I put it for another 10 minutes. So that should be done soon. So that makes it about 55 minutes for me. This one is the one I was showing y'all, and it's just been sitting here. And even though I had it sitting in a colander draining, look how much liquid. So that, I think, is what's causing me to need so much extra flour. So really try to get all the extra moisture out of your pumpkin. You can just expect that you're gonna have to add extra flour. I think it'll turn out fine. So what I'm gonna do once they're defrosted is just measure the rest of it out in here, and I'm gonna let it set and just keep draining it. And then I'll finish up the ones, all the extra gnocchi that I'm gonna make off camera. Ooh wee, y'all. That looks absolutely amazing. And I trusted the process. See how it's not like jiggling in the middle? It looks very fluffy and puffy. It smells divine. It's got all the gooey bits, erupting little sugar volcanoes in there. So we're going to let this rest, and then we'll get back to our gnocchi as well. Okay, now that the dough and I have rested, we're just going to get it out onto a floured cutting board, and this dough is going to be sticky. And then we're going to flour the top, as well as our rolling pin, and we're just going to roll it out both ways. That way we're just getting it to stretch out a little bit. And I have over here to the side a cookie sheet with a seal pat liner. You could use parchment paper, something like that. You just want to have something there so it doesn't stick. And so you're going to cut it into strips, and then you're just going to cut it into little pieces, little pillows of pumpkin deliciousness, and set them over there. You could use a pizza roller for this. And if it's taking you a while to get through this, also cover them with some flour. Just give them a little light dusting with flour, like that. And then I am just going to keep going through cutting probably 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch strips. And I picked what I thought was my sharpest knife, but I don't know. So you want to make sure you either have a surface that you can cut on or do this like on a cutting board, because you don't want to damage your countertops. You also can just put your blade in some flour, and that'll help it not stick so much when you're cutting it. Okay, so this is one full cookie sheet, and this is the actual one batch that I was first showing you guys. So that is 2 servings, and I'm gonna go pop this in the deep freezer and let it flash freeze while I finish making some more gnocchi. Okay, so the first batch is done flash freezing, so I'm just gonna take them all and throw them in this zippy bag. I haven't decided how many servings I'm gonna put in each bag, but once I do, I'm going to make sure I mark my bag with how many servings it is, as well as what it is and the date. So I'm working with my 4 times batch, and I literally just cut it down the center, plopped it out, covered it with flour like I did the other one, and it rolled out perfect. But I wanted to see if a pizza cutter would make this quicker. Since I have so much to get through. Recommend 100%. And I will be showing y'all in just a little bit how easy it is to cook these. And we will be testing them out. Look at that. Rows and rows and rows of pillows. Lovely. Okay, so before we get started, I am told that one of this girl's friends at school, her mom watches the videos. So we wanted to say hey to her and her mama. Okay, so I am going to show you how to quickly make these. Same thing would apply in just a bigger quantity. So I'm using a smaller pot because I'm just going to cook them up for us to taste test them and not necessarily have a full serving of them for dinner tonight. And we are going to heavily salt our water. Don't worry, all that won't go in them. Just like whenever you salt your water for any pasta, you want to over salt it. And then we're going to bring this to a boil. Okay, so we're just going to take these and throw them in our rolling, boiling water. And don't overcrowd your pot. And these will literally tell you when they're done because they will float up. And if you want them a little bit more done, then leave them in like a minute more, but I think I'm going to take them out as soon as they float. Give them a little stir. Man, they came up quick, didn't they, sister? So these are just the very, very plain ones that I'm making. Hot, steamy dumplings. Let's cut one open. I can't even tell if it's cooked all the way through. I turned it off, silly thing.
You might want to take the lid off.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try this one and see if it's cooked all the way through while the water's really hot. I think I would let them go just a minute longer because I have them kind of thick. So if you do them thick like I did, let them go for a minute once they come to the top. If you want them very al dente, pull them out. But we're just going to give them one more minute and then we're going to let them try out the gnocchi as well. But I did like the texture. Okay, I'm going to try it again. I'm gonna see what they say. You at least know what it is. Come see. Can we cut one for you?
Yeah. I mean, it looks really hot.
It wasn't burning my mouth. But use this. There you go. Nice not putting your lips all over it.
Ooh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually
The other
don't-
bit's there. Dad, you want to try
I
it?
don't like
Yeah.
that stuff either.
I don't want to put the thing in my mouth.
Okay. I need to be able to see you.
Why? This is because you like my deep voice.
Mm-hmm.
Come this way.
Yeah. You want your other bit, sister? Want another one, Daddy? I know you can't taste it.
No.
I can't really taste it, but I like the texture, and I usually hate the texture of these.
Do you like the texture?
I can taste the salt.
Yeah.
Because they're usually like, they usually have
I
a really
really,
good
I really
texture.
can't tell that they're pumpkin or not, but who knows if my taste buds are going out? I don't know.
Pumpkin.
These are pumpkin gnocchi.
They are?
You wouldn't be able to tell anyway. You're so
I wouldn't know.
snotty.
I didn't even taste it.
But the texture's good.
I don't really taste anything about that except salt and the texture. I
So
don't taste the texture.
I say that's a win. So if
That
you,
has the texture of gnocchi.
yeah, it does. So if you have kids that don't like to eat vegetables,
Yeah, I would have
That's
no
crazy.
clue that
It doesn't
that's
taste-
pumpkin.
I can't taste anything.
It does not taste like pumpkin.
at least for my pumpkin. All right, you want them?
Yeah.
I like the texture.
So I think it's crazy that these taste as good as they do, even without the full recipe being done.
Is it really pumpkin?
Yeah, it's really pumpkin.
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Watch the video, you'll find out. Winner, winner.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
stay there. I got one more surprise for y'all.
What do you have something hiding in
Dad,
the
we get to drink the liquid.
Yeah. You drink the salt
Do you have
water.
something hiding in the microwave?
Nah.
Wow. What the heck? Where did that come from?
It just magically showed up in the microwave. Let me show y'all close up. Okay, so I'm gonna get me a bite. Girl, you better get off of it.
What is that?
Look at the gooey, lovely deliciousness.
Look at Dad's face.
What's the matter? Okay. Let me get my bite. A gooey deliciousness. I can't believe this turned out the way it did. So I'm gonna get my bite and then y'all have at it and then y'all tell me what it is. Oh,
That's huge. It's like pumpkin pie, but better.
I can actually smell it a little bit.
You can.
Yeah, there's a lot of pumpkin in like that. I like that. And I hate pumpkin pie.
Mmm.
What was that? Was that a mmm?
And it has a lot of cinnamon in
The
it
cinnamon
too.
is not bad.
I think you're getting over your cinnamon aversion. So that is a pumpkin
I've eaten off the spoon.
nut cobbler.
Oh.
Cobbler? Makes
Winner?
sense.
Yeah, I like it.
You do? Everybody likes it?
Yeah, when did you make that?
I'm magical. Anyway,
When I was at school?
Yeah.
yeah, when she was at school. Anyway, we're about to cook up some dinner and then we'll have some of this lovely cobbler. This mystery thing that just magically appeared in the microwave. For dessert and what are you doing? Huh? Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Look forward to showing you some more pumpkin recipes and I've already got more pumpkin defrosted.
What are y'all doing?
Anyway, we got more recipes to look forward to, so please hit subscribe if you are interested in that. Leave us a comment down below. Thank you for all your time, and let me know if any of these interested you and if you're going to try them out. Until the next one, love you, bye-bye. Okay.